World Health Organization warns against the outbreak of monkeypox and seek out ways for it to curb in order not to become a pandemic like COVID-19. You're welcome to the Dailies, where we look at stories making headlines on our national papers and even international, and a tip on the sporting world. I'm Owola Bitosin, and I'll be doing this with Sele Elisha. Good morning, Sele.
Morning, Tosin.
Morning. And what can you talk about this monkeypox outbreak and what World Health Organization is doing to curb it?
I really have to applaud the World Health Organization, because ever since the outbreak, they have been trying their best to see how we can curb it, looking at how they can send assistance to various states, countries, especially African countries that are mostly more vulnerable to this ailment, because we know that I think was it last week or last 2 weeks we recorded in our papers where we see quite a number of states who actually have recorded cases there, including the FCT. So you know that it's really we need to declare a state of emergency when it comes to the monkeypox. We should not be adamant about things like that. And you remember clearly where I stated the fact that if we can look into how we can do the same thing we did during the Ebola case, you see that it was just a matter of at the twinkle of an eye we're able to handle that, and we have no case of Ebola again. So I think even though presently there have been no medication per se that we can actually treat the monkeypox, but they say they are using the vaccine that is used to treat smallpox also for the monkeypox. So I think all we have to do right now is to make sure that whatever we can do on our own way, because we know that the Ministry of Health and also the Commissioners of Health cannot be everywhere at every time, and that's why we've been raising the awareness that more should be done when it comes to primary health clinics in various places, especially the rural areas that have little or nothing information about this monkeypox, that we can bring out and sanitize them on how they can know more about the monkeypox, ways they can curtail it, distancing, how it's being affected, and whatever we can do on our own way, or even NGOs, we should be able to do that. But just like you said, the World Health Organization are really trying to be on their toe, because you remember the COVID, most countries were actually very relaxed. It won't get here, and we saw the effect even to our economy during the 2020. So we're keeping our fingers crossed and hoping that the country, the health organization, and also the Ministry of Health will do something very swiftly to treat that.
Yes, we're hopeful that the World Health Organization and even our country and even the health sector will do something very fast to curb it, for it not to become like the COVID-19 pandemic. We're live on Facebook. Do well to drop your comment on stories that we'll be reviewing this morning. So let's start with the first paper.
Yes, the first paper this morning is The Punch. In the first story here, reps grill NNPC, NMDPRA marketers over rising petrol diesel prices, and detail of that can be found on page 19. Aggrieved aspirant reject INEC list, begin multiple court cases. You can follow that story on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. 30 imaginary fields dormant, federal government award 57 to new investors. Will apply diplomatic pressure to help Ekweremadu. This is coming from the reps. Other stories still on the Punch. Dollar hit 615 naira. Local raw material sources dropped to 54%. NICOM cancels Niger Insurance Standard Alliance license, with detail on page 21. The screaming story here, ex-Chief Justice of Nigeria to get 2.5 billion naira benefits. Senate begins corruption probe, with the rider retired Chief Justice of Nigeria entitled to gratuity that is 300% of 3.36 million naira annual basic. This is an investigation. His earning will be intact. He's entitled to official cars, houses, says the NGC source. And Mohammed battling condition before appointment, visit Dubai for treatment. This is coming from a source. And this is a story that have been on our papers, has been on Facebook, has been almost everywhere since Monday, when he willingly resigned from office. And we know there have been lots of talks here and there, and they said it came in barely some few weeks after there was a letter that came, or from him is whether it's an internal memo that leaked or it was a memo for the public to see about the cases that the 14 justices are having against him. And we see that shortly after that was when he resigned. And we are having here a source saying that he has been battling with an ailment before his appointment. Now, questions that Nigerians we ask, and any common man we ask, is the fact that if we know he was battling with such an ailment, why did we give him the appointment? We had other people that were qualified for that. This is a question we need answers to. Secondly, looking at what he's entitled to, we've been screaming about Nigeria is on red alert. And we can see that apart from the fact that he's entitled to not just a house, but houses, cars, a mansion in Abuja or any state of his choice. Now, these are questions that Nigerians will ask. And Tosi, if you take a look at this paper, just right beneath it, we're having Edo pupils learning on bare floor. Community seeks government help. Now, does this match, this two story, do they match? Why don't we use this fund to see how we can better educational sector? We've been shouting and screaming that ASO have been on strike for the past 4 months plus. And not just to talk about this, before, during the COVID, they were at home for almost a year plus, back and forth. Polytechnics are presently on strike. And here we are having this. We are not against the fact that, yes, whoever works, wages demands whatever he is. But then I believe there is a better way to go about certain things. Yesterday, we saw the award that was given to him barely less than 24 hours after he resigned. Now, there are questions that Nigerians will ask. It feels as if someone is benefiting while another part is not benefiting. So I believe that it will only be fair on the federation to actually check what can we do. We keep talking about federal character, and look at things that we are seeing here. We just hope that the federal government will be able to balance this. When, if they are able to visit, they do and see what they can do concerning this. So we can see them sitting on the floor. So I can see somebody even sleeping. Why? Because the environment is not even conducive. And we keep saying these are the leaders of tomorrow. So see, these are the kind of things that will make these young ones, when they get there, they also want to benefit from the national cake. And when they get there, they do not even remember the system that actually helped them to be there. They will not be saying, I was suffering back then and that's why I'm up here. It's also my turn now to benefit from the national cake. We need to learn that being a leader is not to be a boss, but you need to be a servant because you're there to serve people. And yes, when you serve, you are meant to be given what your benefit. But I think there should be a balance. If we're seeing that Senate are already beginning to check into the corruption cases, because we know that it's not yet done. Definitely, these 14 justices that actually wrote that memo, we want to follow up. They should be hearing, because we looked at their welfare that was not taken care of. There was no internet service during court hearing. Some of them no power supply. Some of them, it will surprise you that a whole justice, Tosin, does not even have a personal car. He or she don't have a personal car. You see them shuttling from one keke or the other, or shuttling from one Uber driver or the other. It doesn't make sense at all. They are vulnerable. They can be attacked. So I just hope that we'll look more into that and see that the justice system, if we say we have 3 arms of government, the executive, the legislative, and the judiciary, I believe that it will only be fair that whatever the executive and the legislative are enjoying, the judiciary should also enjoy same. Well, other stories still on the Punch. We have Ekiti workers give Fayemi 21-day ultimatum over unpaid entitlements. Or your deputy governor sues assembly over impeachment move, with detail on page 14. Lagos airlift 1,598 pilgrims promises refund, with detail also on page 18. And on strike, Abiodun meets Labour today, lament cash crush, with detail on page 20. And we have exercise restraint Buhari tells aggrieved senators, with details still on page 18. And that's all on the Punch newspaper.
Thank you, Sally. On Al Jazeera midweek, CBN attracts $50 billion investment through Forex windows. Zamfara Assembly passes banditry, terrorism, other offences bill. And we can see that the governor of Zamfara State, who is Bello Mataweli, is keen on how this issue of insecurity can be curbed. You saw where he said people should have the license to own guns because of the rate at which insecurity is becoming the order of the day in Zamfara State and even in other neighboring states. And now we can see that he has passed the bill of banditry and terrorism offences. He has passed the bill on how shoot at sight, and we see what the governor of Imo State is doing and saying it's giving terrorists and bandits 10 days ultimatum to leave the state. If not, they feel whatever aftermath effect they get, they are the ones who called it for themselves. And it's high time we declare no to terrorism, and it's high time state governors own up to their responsibility and stand out to the game on how insecurity can be curbed, because we can't just leave it alone for the federal government to handle. That's why you are a state governor. Look out for ways what you can do, and we see where people are clamoring for state policing, clamoring that state policing is what we need to be adopted, and the bill should be passed even in the Senate and even in the House for us to look out for ways we can deploy these people to work with our security agencies on ways we can curb this issue of insecurity. Ogun workers embark on indefinite strike over salary deduction. And I would like to talk about the irony behind all these things, where someone is entitled to a large sum of money in a country where it's not working, in a country where everything is on a standstill. We see where Ogun workers are embarking on an indefinite strike over their salary deduction. We saw the same thing that happened in NAFDAC, where they went on a strike because of their salary not being implemented. We still see in Ekiti State where workers are on strike because of their salary not being paid, their entitlement not being paid to them. And we see a setting where someone is receiving a huge amount of money for as entitlement and his gratuity and so many packages being displayed for him, like the house entitlement, that of cars. And just in that same judiciary, we see where the justices are lamenting that even after some that have been sworn in for 2 years back, they've not received their entitlement. Even the cars that was given to them was of substandard. And we see even when you talk about their medical welfare, it's not looked into. Even the clinic in the judiciary, in the judiciary system, they don't have the necessary medication for them and even their family. And what about the housing allowance? There's no housing allowance for these people. We need to be balanced in all these things. We need to be fair in all these things, because one sector cannot be crying and another sector is enjoying the whole benefit. Because even in the judiciary system, there are still people who are clamoring. Look at for the research assistants. They don't have it. And take a look at the judiciary system in foreign nations. You need to see the way they work. You need to see how the environment, the working environment for the justices. But you see that of our nation, there is nothing to write home about. And we see others who have resigned from work, others who are even in active service. They don't receive their salary as due, and they don't receive their entitlement. For those who are out of service, they don't receive their entitlement. We need to do something about these things. And we see where the pension, the PENCOM is saying that they are looking out for ways they can upgrade salaries, upgrade pension of pensioners, and look out for ways pensions can be coming as it's supposed to come. We just looked at something positive will come out of all these things. Then we need to balance everything from PENCOM and even from the state government and even from the federal government. Again, court throws out Nnamdi Kanu's bail application. INEC will continue to uphold choices made by Nigerians, and this is coming from Yakubu. The big story on Al Jazeera says controversy trails new CJN's age. Started school 1 year after birth. Despite resignation, Senate orders probe of ex-CJN Tanko. 6 measures to avert judicial crisis. And on insecurity, police ban tinted cars, covered number plates. While on alleged organ harvesting, Ekweremadu wife sues NIMC and immigration and others. Federal government rakes in over 2 trillion naira from sales of marginal oil fields, and details can be found in page 22. We have a picture story here. Vice President Yemi Oshibanjo receiving Plateau State MSME Special Recognition Award from the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, during the 5th National MSME Award at the State House Banquet Hall in Abuja. And that's all on the Al Jazeera midweek paper.
Let's take a look at the Daily Independent. Buhari assures 22 aggrieved APC senators of justice before the 2023 polls. NLC TUC vowed to work for Peter Obi presidential victory. And the big story is time to implement the 2014 Comfort report. This is coming from Jonathan. And gunmen invade Eboyi community, burn houses, kill one and abduct many. We detailed on page 7. Excuse me. Despite resigning, Senate vows to investigate the former Chief Justice of Nigeria. And National Assembly to amend Electoral Act to remedy weaknesses. NICOM revoke license of Niger Insurance Standard Alliance with detail on page 6. And why diesel, cooking gas are costly by NNPC boss. Federal government stop award of marginary oil fields, insists oil fields assets to be governed by provision of the PIA. We have on IPOP again, Justice Nyako denies Nnamdi Kanu bill with detail on page 6. And Lalon as Tinubu running mate will strengthen Nigeria's unity. This is coming from the Northern Group. You can read detail of that on page 29 of the Daily Independent newspaper. And the last story I'll be taking, Matawale insists on self-defense in all great committees with detail on page 7. And that's all on the Daily Independent.
And on the Daily Sun, 15 feared killed, others missing in renewed Ebonyi Benue boundary dispute. While on impeachment, Oyo Deputy Governor sues House of Assembly, and Buhari panics over looming mass defection from APC, begs 22 senators not to dump party, as Kalu lead aggrieved lawmakers to meet president. Jonathan opens up on 2014 Confab report, explains why he declined to give approval. Tinubu's certificate non-issue of INEC record is efficient, and this is from Hope Uzodinma. Boost crude production, crash operations cost, federal government charges marginal field investors, and Rep summons Aregbesola Onyema orders over Ekweremadu as agency begins probe of private breach. Senate in fresh push to amend Electoral Act widens judiciary probe as reps rescind move to establish Electoral Offences Commission. The last story on the Daily Sun on our church killings. The police is saying we have not arrested any suspect. And details can be found in page 4. And that's all on the Daily Sun.
And on the Vanguard newspaper, why I couldn't implement recommendation of the 2014 confirmed report. This is coming from Jonathan. And federal government hands over 57 oil fields to Matrix, Adrova and others with detail on page 8. And on 2023, we are unaware of the fresh suit to stop Tinubu. This is coming from Ogala. With the rider Tinubu certificate a non-issue. This is coming from Hope Uzodinma. Why NICOM cancel Standard Alliance and Niger Insurance licenses? You can check more of that on page 19. The big story, which is on almost all our papers, the ex-Chief Justice of Nigeria must be probed in judicial interest. This is coming from the Senate. With the writer, I'm embarrassed as a lawyer, says Omo Agigi. Adds there is no reason judiciary should lack financially. His resignation are key to vote of no confidence. This is coming from Fashanu. He should be thoroughly investigated by the NGC. And then we can see that President Muhammadu Buhari in the picture received angry APC senators. Ekweremadu, we won't allow humiliation of the former Deputy Senate President. This is coming from the House of Reps. And on bloodbath in the southeast, many dead, more missing in Eboyi-Benue boundary clash. And still on the self-defense, reps tells the federal government to send troops to Zamfara. With the rider, why we directed citizens to acquire guns. And this is coming from the governor Matawadi, with detail on page 7. And NNPC GMD blames fuel scarcity hike in diesel price on moribund refineries, with detail on page 35. And on 2023, Buhari weighs in to assure aggrieved APC senators prevent planned exodus. And the last story I'll be taking: alleged rigging plans deny APC leaders government officials visa. PDP writes to US, UK and others, with detail on page 36. And that's all on the Vanguard.
On New Telegraph, on IMF, Nigerians 2022 3.4% growth outlook optimistic, as fragile recovery slowed to 3.98% in fourth quarter 2021. NICOM revokes license of Niger Insurance Standard Alliance. And here we see a picture story of Ipiazu, the Rebuilder series from 2015 to 2023. We can see the Ungwa Road before and after, and we can see the development of Ipiazu as a rebuilder. And again, on the New Telegraph, APC primaries will address members' grievances ahead of polls. This is coming from President Muhammadu Buhari, as 22 senators disenchanted. And National Assembly will amend Electoral Act to address loopholes. This is from the Senate President. Still on 2023, organized labor drums up support for Obi, as PVC's core members threatened to boycott primary assignments. And we see the need for people to go out, get their PVC. And even the General Secretary of ECWA have written a memo down to the DCC chairman and secretary on the need for church members, on the need to sensitize church members on the importance of getting their PVC, and not just relying or not just stopping at the level of getting PVC, to go out and even go out to vote. And we'll say we need to applaud what the church have been doing concerning the need for people to go out and get their PVC. We see it in different church where they even walk people out, but that of ECWA, people won't be walked out, but they will be encouraged on the need to get their PVC. And if possible, the INEC officials will be invited to the church for them to be able to do it, register people, for people to be able to get their PVC. And we know that this started from last week Sundays in different churches in ECWA, the announcement, the sensitization on the importance of getting their PVC. And even on this platform, we've been telling people on the importance of going out to get their PVC. And we need to see that people on the platform, even in neighboring states, are going out to do this, because you need to see the long queues at places where PVC need to be gotten. And we know that Plateau State, there was a public holiday that was declared for Monday, Tuesday, for people to go out in numbers to get their PVC. We see different state governors also declaring public holidays in their states for people to go out. So you see that people have known the importance of getting PVC, and we just hope that people will go out, and when they get their PVC, when they enroll when they register for their PVC, they will still go and collect the PVC, because we see where INEC are saying that people are yet to collect their PVC from the office. So people should go out to get their PVC, and days of election, the governorship election or the general election, people should go out in number to vote. And still on the New Telegraph, no refinery working in Nigeria at the moment. This is coming from Kyari. Says over 200 illegal refineries in operation. Then what are we doing concerning this? Because we see where illegal refineries have caused so many havoc in state, even in the country, where people lost their life as a result of working in all these illegal refineries. And we know how it has affected our oil wells. We know how the illegal refineries have affected us as a nation. So we need to look into this and seal those illegal refineries. Then as a country, we need to have our own refinery where we can refine our crude oil. 2023 presidential poll: AA cites forgery allegation, moves to halt Tinubu and his APC's ambition. wants court to stop INEC from listing ruling party and a standard bearer. Another court refuses suit seeking to stop Tinubu and Atiku's participation, orders plaintiff to put defendants on notice, fixes July 14 for hearing. Ex-Lagos Governor's certificate controversy unnecessary. This is from Hope Uzodinma, and details can be found in pages 3 and 8 of the New Telegraph paper. Federal High Court shifts Kanu's trial to November 14, dismisses bail application, refuses to revoke arrest warrant, and IPOB leader challenges suits in appeal court. Senate to probe petition by Supreme Court justices as NJC backs suit seeking review of judges' salaries. Court fixes July 15 for ruling. And on Hajj, 2,438 Lagos pilgrims to miss out as Saudi restrict slot. Lagos State government set to refund 250. And a study here, muscle building men using steroid risks growing breast. And details can be found in page 8 of the New Telegraph. And that's all on the New Telegraph paper.
And on Daily Trust, the first story, I'll be taking bandits sack 30 Zamfara communities, issue quick notice to 5 plateau villages. And I think we should not take this issue for granted. If they have sacked 30 Zamfara communities, then we know what it means. And I still go back to what the president said concerning most of these terrorist leaders being deceased, to the fact that we have really overcome terrorism. But we can see over here, and that's why the governor of Zamfara State was able to tell his citizens that they are permitted to go for self-defense, and they are about to even start, training. We can see that quick notice have been sent to 5 plateau villages. Automatically, it means that they need to vacate their villages. Yet, yesterday we saw where 22 died in the IDP camps in Zamfara, in Katsina, sorry. So I think that we really need to do something when it comes to all these bandits. We have all it takes. I believe we have all it takes, and that's why I keep saying, when we keep focusing on one thing and turning a blind eye. Yesterday our caller said it seems as if we're forgotten about issues happening in the country. All we're concerned about right now is politics, and that's why I said it's good you go after your political ambition, but at the same time we should not turn a blind eye to all this. We saw where in Eboyi, Benue, so many people are being attacked, Zamfara, Niger, lot of all this northern, now it has moved over to the south, all this issue of insecurity. So we'll keep talking, we'll not get tired of talking about the fact that we have said this: if we are able to handle insecurity, we'll not have issues of all these illegal refineries we're talking about. We'll not have issues of saying that farmers cannot go to their farm, because right now inflation prices here and there, transportation, feeding and all that. So we are pleading with the federal government, pleading with the state government to please rise up to your responsibility. If you have taken an oath to protect life and property, then I don't believe that people should be sent away from their own heritage, their own land that their fathers gave to them. What do you want them to do when they leave? IDP camps are not safe. Even there, they are being molested. Hunger is there. Hardship is there. I mean, there's no place that is safe any longer. So we are pleading on the federal government to please do something about this, because it's their responsibility. Other stories still on Daily Trust. NCDC put Nigerians on monkeypox red alert. And we said this in the beginning of the show, so we hope that they will do something about this. PDP backs media trust 2023 elections debate. And the big story, 5 days to deadline, less than half of Nigerians pilgrim airlifted. Saudi Arabia reject requests for additional slots, intending pilgrims protests in Kano, and operators 3.3 billion naira hanging. And on Niger Insurance, Standard Alliance lose license over failure to settle claims, with detail on page 28. No going back on self-defense. This is coming from Governor Matawale of Zamfara State. 2 hit by stray bullets in army, police clash in Bayelsa. And the aftermath of the APC primaries, Buhari weighs in as 22 aggrieved senators insist on defection. 75 court cases trailed exercise in states, ruling party control of parliament threatened. And that's all on the Daily Trust newspaper.
Thank you very much, Sele. But before I continue with the Nigerian Tribune, we'll be right back after this time out. Thank you for staying tuned and welcome back to the Dailies on Equa Television. We'll continue with more paper analysis, but our phone lines are open. Do well to call us on stories that interest you, and stories we'll be reviewing, starting from the ex-CJN, the benefits and allowances and packages that have been given to him right from Ekiti State, where we are having different sectors going on strike because of price deduction, their salary deduction, and even lack of payment of salaries. And we see where schools in Ebonyi are having no infrastructure, where students have to result in sitting on the floor, and even people clamoring and seeking for help from the federal government. So many things we are reviewing. We'd like you to call us on things that pique your interest on the papers we are reviewing. And on Nigerian Tribune, migrants are increasing around Nigeria's borders. Masari, APC Vice President candidate, notifies INEC of his missing certificate, swears affidavit to that effect. And we see now the new trend is where governors and even aspirants come up with the stories of missing certificates. But I will say this, even if your certificate is missing, you know your school, the school you graduated from. It's as easy going to go back to such school and they give you another certificate. So like, it's that simple. So having all this issue, now we see where some governors are swearing for affidavit to the effect of missing certificates. And we know the new trend, we have the issue where the aspirant for the APC presidential candidate, who is Tinubu, said he missed his certificate was stolen. That's that right from the primary, secondary, and even the university certificate was missing. And now we see that governors now are coming up and saying they have missing certificates. We need to do the right thing, because all this need to be presented before you can vie for any position. And I'll ask, when the screening was done, what was screened? Because I know in screening process, your certificates need to be screened. So what was screened for you to even pass that, qualify and go for the primary? So we need to look into all these things. Then INEC need to do the right thing they are supposed to do. If you say you're an independent body, then you should work independently. No one should tell you what else to do. And we see that other parties, you see the parties in position are the ones dictating for INEC on what to do. We need the right thing to be done. If you don't have certificates, then what position are you vying for, and what was done during the screening process? Because we saw even pictures where Tinubu was screened for the presidential primaries. Then now we see issues coming up, and we see state governors, Masari, APC vice president, and even some candidates coming up to say they had issues of missing certificates. We relied on extant legislation to direct residents to acquire firearms, and this is from Zamfara State Governor. Imo insecurity doesn't warrant arming citizens for self-defense. This is still coming from Hope Izodima. Oyo deputy governor heads for court to stop impeachment process. And northern groups are saying while Lalong as vice president best for APC and Nigeria's unity. NICOM cancels registration certificate of 2 insurance companies. And the big story, Buhari moves to halt APC senators' defection, meets defeated aspirant in Aso Rock. Jonathan is saying why I didn't implement 2014 National Conference report. And landlords gives out houses to Yahoo boys, risks 15-year jail term. This is coming from EFCC. And just yesterday, I saw the video of the suspect of Ahmed, those that were arrested, those suspects of the killers, that's the killers of Ahmed Gulak in Imo State. They said even while they were in the forest, there were politicians, key politicians that even come to visit them, even in the forest. And now we see that here, we see landlord giving out houses to Yahoo boys, and we see EFCC saying that those landlord risks 15 years jail term. We need to look out for ways we cannot promote wrongdoings. We see wrongdoings being promoted, and we know that this issue of this Yahoo boys, we see that even the government have been trailing these people, arresting these people, because what they result to doing, even going into ritual activities.
True.
We saw that where killings it became the order of the day, the beginning of this year, where people were being killed. We have Mr. James from Taraba. Good morning. Hello, Mr. James.
I think you have to move away from
good
your
morning,
TV
madam.
set.
Good morning. Please move away from your TV set.
Yeah, hello, good morning.
Good morning. We can hear you.
Yeah, I would like to comment concerning this governor of Zamfara, Machawale, saying that everyone is licensed for holding gun. For this now, this one that we don't even license the thing where the thing is going on like that. If anyone now licenses the things, how our country will be? I think it's not good. Because if they allow everyone to hold gun in this our country, I think we are finished. We are all finished. Please, all they need to do is that they should control. They should know how they will stop those who hold gun. They should find out how they will stop them. It's not the right thing that they should allow everybody to hold gun in this our country. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. James. Talking about the order the governor of Zamfara State gave out on possession of firearms, and he's saying if it gets out of hands, we can't control it. And we know we said same thing yesterday. When these things get out of hand, we can't control it. Rather, the right people, the right sectors that are in charge of security and peace should be the ones in possession of firearms, and they should work towards looking out for restoring peace even in states that are at the verge of attack by terrorist group. Still on the Nigerian Tribune, Buhari moves to halt APC senators' defection, meets defeated aspirant in Aso Rock. Again, court rejects Kanu bail application. Stop all killings, let there be peace, IPOB leader tells members. Senate to probe Supreme Court Justice's allegation despite CJN's resignation. And that's all on Nigerian Tribune. But I would like to read a comment from Raymond Diaye. He says, oh yes. And thank you, Raymond. Our phone lines are open. Do well to call, and also do well to drop your comments on our official Facebook page. Good morning, Mr. Matthew.
Good morning.
Morning.
How was the day?
Fine, please go on.
I always enjoy your analysis.
Thank you.
But I have to comment on the issue of certificate forgery regarding the presidential aspirant.
Okay.
I want to agree on the other part and disagree on the other part based on your own analysis. I want to disagree that if your certificate is lost, a new certificate cannot be given to you. But instead, the school will give you a cover note together with an affidavit from the court, and that will help you to process all your transactions that you want. Secondly, I come to understand that this our Nigeria, we have turned our place into a playground because one is supposed to present the certificate before even being considered as a candidate of a political party or to contest any election in Nigeria. If one has never presented a certificate, why is he allowed even to contest in the first instance? I think we need to correct so many mistakes that we are making. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Matthew. And I would like to say that those people who say they missed their certificate, they should go back to school, so that the due process will be done in order to have the affidavit for us to know the qualification of whoever is vying for certain position of power. That's all on the Nigerian Tribune.
Let's take a look at Nigerian News Direct. And Biodun gets the best governor on MSME award. And Peitami takes the digital economic agenda to Mina. Landlords risks 15-year jail term for retired house to oil.
Sorry, Sele, for cutting you short. We have Reverend Odorafa from Delta. Good morning.
I think he has to move away from your TV set, please. Okay, still on Nigerian News Direct, landlords risks 15-year jail term for renting house to Yahoo boys. This is coming from the EFCC. The big story on prison congestion. Federal government proposed a maximum 12-month trial period, with detail on page 2. And on fuel scarcity, non-functional refineries is on Russia-Ukraine war, COVID-19 pandemic, root causes of the fuel crisis. This is coming from Kiari.
So we have Fidelis. Hello, Fidelis. Good morning.
Yes, I'm Fidelis. I'm calling from Cross River State. Let me just be very brief. This Professor INEC chairman should be removed. He has done a lot of evil in this country. He has put people that are not supposed to be there as president. Somebody should remove him. Nigerians should remove him. Mahmoud Farouk, INEC board. That guy should be removed immediately.
Thank you, Fidelis.
This is Fidelis. I'm calling from Cross River State.
But we need to do the right thing, and it begins with you and I, because he's talking about he's giving an allegation saying the INEC chairman have done the wrong things, but if he's not declared guilty, then we can't declare him guilty. We need the right thing to be done, and it begins with you and I. If we know that someone is doing the wrong thing in a position, then we have the mantle of power in our hands. That's why we keep on saying go out for your PVC. But if he's not declared guilty, we can't declare him guilty. Law would take its full course on him if he is guilty of any charges that has been leveled against him.
Of course. And still on, okay.
We have Rochas from Taraba. Good morning, Rochas.
Good morning, my sister. God bless you.
Thank you.
Hello.
We can hear you.
Please go on.
Thank you. I want to comment on the issue of the Zamfara state that ordered the citizens to hold guns. For me, it's right, but it's not right again. But why are they Fulani? They allow Fulani people to hold gun, and other people they're telling them not to hold gun. Is it right? And the other one, issue with the INEC stuff. If you go to Kano now, people they are working with this machine house to house, but other states they don't have. To do registration for people. It's not right. It's not right, my sister. We are living in a country full of wickedness. The wickedness of this, our leaders, is too much. One state, they would be moving from house to house.
Well, Tosa, I think, actually got the point he was trying to raise, because, yes, he said he's permitting the Zamfara state, he's supporting, but then he said the Fulani, and we stand to kick against that. I think the president has said anybody that is found holding any firearm should be shoot aside. He
yes.
gave that order, so the president did not sign that into order. Nobody is permitted to take arms apart from those who have been licensed. That is the security agency, that the only people that are permitted. And also to look at he said the leadership. Yeah, we all have our personal grievances on certain things that are happening. INEC not giving certain machines. I know, yes, we had issues where certain use, especially in the southeast, I think they were talking about just 2 machines to just a local government, and it's not sufficient enough to be printed. I think we're just drawing the attention of INEC. Possibly they are not aware of all that is happening, and the attention needs to be drawn down, more machines to be given, because if we are saying that there's still more to be done. Okay.
We have Emmanuel from Bauchi. Good morning, Emmanuel.
Thank you very much, my sister listener. Yes, I want to comment on this gun holding. Yes, they didn't legalize this gun in Nigeria completely. It is being legalized in the United States. You understand? Why I support that man that said they legalize, Goodluck Jonathan legalized the guns for Fulani. You understand? Why? You understand? It's not stupidity. We are looking for vote. You understand? And he's been disappointed. And again, yes, let the INEC officer, that Mahmoud, be sacked. It is the truth. You know? And I keep saying it time to time. Immigration is something, a problem in this Nigeria. The Nigerians, the Senegal, and everything, you understand, the Northerners, they bring them in order to rig the election. And lastly, sincerely speaking, what I'm investigating now, if Buhari tenure was finished, he will get arrested. Because Otom had already said that he was the one that brought all these terrorists. But nobody said anything. They not said it's just an allegation, and the whole thing just kept quiet. You know, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
It's an allegation to see.
Yes, I would like to say there was never a time a sitting president or even a former president legalized the use of firearms, because just as you said, there was a time where the sitting president gave the order that they should shoot aside anyone with illegal firearms, and now even legalizing these firearms, there are people who have the possess firearms, but you have to go through the process of legalizing it. No one is saying you can't possess a firearm, but you have to go through the process of legalizing your firearms. Then there was never a time anyone legalized firearms for any sect or any Fulani group. We need to do the right thing. We give out as it is on our papers, and we've never seen anything like that. We need to do the right thing. And also on what our last caller just said, that after Buhari's tenure in power, he will be arrested. That is left for the EFCC, and that is left for the judiciary system to do that. But
True.
Whenever it happens, we will still bring it to you as it is. Thank you, Sele, for doing
My
this with me,
pleasure.
and even those behind the scene to make this program a success. We are grateful, and also for your contribution and your calls. We're also grateful. Let's do this tomorrow, same time, same station. Bye for now.